Did you know that 1 in 3 of us will suffer from some form of mental illness at some point throughout our lifetime? Whether it be anxiety, depression, or even suicide. And that means if it's not the person that was last on your left or your right, then it could be you. My name is Stephen Kent and I welcome you to the Live Your Truth pod and podcast, aka the Lit Pod, where we explore all things mindset in the pursuit of empowerment. And I welcome you to this, the first of the Suffering to Service sessions, where I share with you my story. But in order for me to tell my story, first you must understand the story of Charmaine. If you were to meet Charmaine today, you would meet a young, energetic, vibrant, connected and serving member of her community. But unfortunately, it wasn't always like that. If we were to go back some 10, 12 years, you would have found Charmaine in a completely different place. You would have found Charmaine on her knees to the devil of her own mind, completely dejected, retracted from society and feeling worthless, feeling as though she wasn't worthy of even the very breath in her lungs. She felt as though she was a burden on every single person around her, even the people she had not yet met. And she would play a game that she would call Weapon of Choice. Only it wasn't a game. She would sit at the head of her bed and visualize all the ways in which she could bring an end to her life. All the weapons that she could use to bring an end to her suffering, that she was worthy of. This game that Charmaine would play, she would find herself sharing the context of the game with friends and family alike. She would reach out with a cry for help. Only this cry for help went unanswered. She would find herself in situations where the game that she would play would be quite well received by friends and family. It was met in a jovial manner, as if there wasn't an air of seriousness to this. People completely overlooked her pain. Now this left Charmaine with a choice. She would have the choice to bring an end to the pain and suffering and make a permanent decision in a temporary state of mind, or she could find a way to better communicate the ways in which she was feeling. Fortunately for her, desperation led to inspiration, and that inspiration came to her through what she likes to call soul food. Soul food for Charmaine was putting pen to paper. She would bleed onto the page, and that she could present to her friends and family as a way to better communicate her pain. Surely that cry for help wouldn't go unnoticed. One of her most insightful pieces went something like this. I'm obsessed with the oppressed and this depressed state of mind. Some sort of mind control device, it follows me round all the time. These raging fires from hell. If only I could tell that this is not something I'd wish upon my worst enemy. But if only through the window they could peek, look and see. If only through these windows they could peek, look and see. If only through these windows you could peek, look and see. I know what you see you wouldn't like. It's not like riding a fucking bike, but a venomous snake just biding to strike. And with its poison running through my veins. It's slowly driving me insane. But I guess I don't know, but soon, I hope. Before I start to look for that noose and a rope, and with a noose around my neck, would I be free from this punishment that incarcerates me? And it's with pieces like that Charmaine was able to communicate her pain. She was able to communicate the challenges in which she faced. And through communication, she would slowly find strength. The strength to find her feet and to rise again. The reason I share Charmaine's story is because Charmaine's story is, if you think about it, it's a story of all of ours. Charmaine's story is our story. It's a story of setbacks and comebacks, trials and tribulations, something that we can all relate to. Charmaine's story is a story of hope, a story of possibility. Charmaine's story holds within it a lesson. And the lesson is this, that a temporary state of mind should not be allowed to dictate a permanent decision. Charmaine was able to find her feet and find her strength. She was able to take her pain and turn it into power. and through her writings, she aims to turn her suffering into service for others. So with that said, if you were to meet Charmaine today, you would meet a vibrant, connected, serving and contributing member of her community. Only she probably wouldn't look how you pictured her. The truth is that Charmaine, as much as every word of her story is true, she doesn't exist. Charmaine is fictional, but the story is true. Charmaine wasn't a girl, she was a boy. And that boy was me. I am Charmaine. Charmaine's story is my story. And my name is Stephen Kempt, and I continue to choose to survive in the face of mental illness. And I choose suffering to service